Hey guys, this is Travis here, and I wanted to make a video on my Perception Angler 11.5 and my new Ascend FS128T. This is the last day I'll have both these kayaks here. The guy I traded with to pick up the Perception's coming in a little bit. So before I let it go, I want to cover a few things a few questions you guys may have, a few things I really like about it, a few things I don't like about it, and then we'll move over and talk about the new Ascend. So the first thing I want to do is, of course I don't have my seat out here, but with the Ascend, the Perception, what I like about it is when I sit in it, and I have a seat, I bought a little $50 bolt-on seat that works real well. When I sit in it, I'm kind of down inside the kayak. I like the molded foot rolls, and I changed my position a lot. This one actually has a higher seat on it too, so when you want to sit up a little higher and fish, you can. I didn't find paddling from this position very comfortable. I kept hitting my kneecaps. But I put the seat on it. Once you have the seat on it, it makes it very difficult to get up to the higher seat. It does have the stand-up, assist. I'm 6'1.5", 6'2", about 220. I never successfully stood up in this kayak. It was a little bit too wobbly. Now, when it comes to rough water, I put a Sherman sticker, a tank sticker on this side over here because it is so tough and so great in rough water. And that's probably the #1 thing I'll miss about it. I'd have big boats passing me at 30 miles an hour and they'd throw a wake. As long as I turned into it, I could ride it out just fine. I live on the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain, and it gets pretty choppy out there. I haven't gone too crazy, but I've definitely been out in, say, a 2-foot chop. Water washes over, goes right through the scupper holes and back out. I did feel extremely secure in this one. One of the things I am concerned about with the new Ascend is that I'm not sure it's going to take water quite so well. The Scotty mount for the pole is a little bit too far away. I have it off right here. This one came with it. It also came with the anchor trolley, which is extremely convenient. The guy I purchased the Ascend from actually installed it for me already. This is the Scotty pole rod holder. It was a little bit too far. I kind of had to crawl forward in the kayak to get to it, but it was still useful. But I did not like to always have my poles sitting up. I go back in the swamp, I go under bridges, things like that, and I was constantly worried about the poles behind me and the pole in front of me catching on things. And I want to show you one more thing before I leave the Perception. The storage on this thing is absolutely horrible. You have this center storage hop, which is tied in right here. It's your dry storage. This is the one I wind up using pretty much exclusively. I would take my dry bag and wrap it around this, drop it back down there, and just pull it out every single time I needed something. I was keeping like pieces of bait and shrimp and the little drink holder right here and up here, just because there was no other good place to keep it. This front hatch is completely worthless. I spoke to Perception because what happened was I got out there, got in some rough water, it got some sand and salt on it, and I couldn't open it. I mean, I got back to the launch, and lucky enough somebody had a hammer. I had to hammer it open with the nail, put a few scratches in there, getting it out. When it's on there tight, it's too tight. When it's on there loose, it tends to drip a little bit of water. So I just stopped using it altogether. You see I keep empty beer cans in there. These front bungees, I would tie my tackle box and honestly my sandals to it. I also liked it because I could slip my paddle in here when I stopped. I'd pin the paddle between the rod holder and the front and pin the paddle down there. You can't get to this when you're on the water. It's too far away. There was times when I thought I was going to flip the kayak just reaching my tackle box up here. Then the one behind you, especially when the seat is in, imagine you're in the water in a little chop, you have to reach all the way back here. To even get in your ice chest is very difficult. I also keep a live fish bag. Halfway through the day, I would just put it in my lap. I got tired of either reaching up there for it or reaching way back here for it. And you load this side up, and it makes the back end so heavy that the front end starts catching wind, starts catching wakes, and it does not track well at all. If you're on a calm river or bayou or lake, you can haul ass in this thing. If you have the slightest bit of wind, slightest bit of chop, and that front end's up in the air, one, because you can't store anything up there, you can't get to it. As soon as you stop paddling, it wants to spin in circles. So getting back here was impossible. I kept a live well back there one day, and I didn't even use the shrimp because it was too hard to get to. Things I did like about it, these molded foot pads, I actually like them more than the sliding ones. The heels of my feet would go numb after a couple hours, so make sure you change your position, things like that. This is actually the second kayak I had. I had a Sun Dolphin first, a smaller kayak, and the sliding foot pegs were cutting my feet up terribly. So, like this more than the original sliding foot pegs. Maybe I lost some content in the video, but that's cool. I want to show you a few more things before I move on to the Ascend. I think one of the reasons this Perception takes the rough water so well is that, let me move my pole here. When you flip it over, you'll notice that it's got a few channels in it. First off, look. People complain it's heavy. I can put it in my truck, no problem at all. I'm not a very strong guy. The Ascend is much more difficult. So, sorry, camera angle here. Deep channels, I think they call this a tri-hull, with the angled scupper holes. I think that's where you get your stability from. If I was a smaller guy, I probably could stand up fairly easily, but I'm not. So the guy who's taking it over, he doesn't fish nearly as much as I do. So we like to take these out, go down to the beach, paddle back in the bayous of Louisiana. It's great. You know, have a few beers and bring your friends out. So, now to the Ascend. The reason I chose this one is, as you can see, massive amounts of deck space. This is the chair it comes with. It just goes down under these bungees right here. It's got 3 height settings, which I think would be pretty convenient. And then the storage is phenomenal. This one, over your back, I'll probably keep the ice chest back there. In the front, I could easily keep a tackle box, and then look at these. It's got these little holders here. I guess they're cup holders, but I know that when I'm fishing, I'll be keeping. All right, just the last few points I want to make. Sorry about the videos getting messed up there, but had some camera issues. But anyway, I wanted to show this center beverage hatch, which will be convenient, not having to go into, you know, one of the bigger hatches for your cell phone or your keys or, you know, whatever else you might keep in there. Let's see. Some models apparently come with the rod holder there. That's not going to work for me. I bought this one. I'm not going to install it. I ordered one for these track rails, but like other guys have said, these track rails do feel real flimsy, so I'll just have to see. Maybe I'll put my small pole up there. The small pole does fit using the front rod tip protector. The big pole goes in there, but it leaves the reel way back down here. So anyway, moral of the story is, the kayak does feel good. It feels fairly stable. It's a lot bigger, has plenty of deck space. You're sitting up high, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. I redfish hunt up here, and I've learned a lot from Texas redfish hunter. Check that guy's page out on YouTube. He's phenomenal. I actually didn't realize it, but he actually used this kayak for a little while there. So the high seat's gonna help with that. You're gonna catch wind. It's not gonna feel as good in a rough chop. And like guys have said, on a river that's moving swiftly, you probably want a different kayak. But for the money, I was able to trade and upgrade. I'm happy with it. I want to show you one last thing. This is the fiance's kayak. She's got a little Pelican 10. That thing is fast. I put some car wax on the bottom. It's quick. It's quick. And then you can see my kayak rack I built. Very simple. Two 8-foot tall, or I guess 12-foot tall 4x4s, a couple 2x4s. That top one's so light, doesn't need any support. The bottom row has some support on it. But yeah, check it out. Ascend FS128T and the Perception 11.5. So this one's about, I think, 12.8 feet. It's just under 13 feet, so bigger than 12 feet. But looking forward to using it. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. And, of course, subscribe and like. Thanks.